Stewart Swerdlow, and this is Stu's current news for the week of December 21st, 2010, the winter solstice. And I also want to wish you a very happy Appreciation Week, and that's what I call this holiday season, Appreciation Week and Appreciation Time. So hopefully you'll have someone that you appreciate and show them that you care about them and they about you. This week's news has been very interesting because there's been a lot to do with UFOs. As I have mentioned on my news on my website expansions.com, the Israelis actually shot down a mysterious object over the Negev desert near their Dimona nuclear power site, which is very secretive and has been for many decades. In fact, it is so secretive, they use Ethiopian Falasha Jews to guard it so that they can identify the people who are around it who do not look Middle Eastern. The Israeli Air Force said that a mysterious object that was acting suspiciously and hovering over the Dimona plant was shot down by their aircraft. Here's the interesting information about it, though. How could a vehicle that is supposedly an unmanned balloon, or so they said, make its way across the Israeli border, or from wherever it came, without being detected, especially near such a sensitive area? Airspace over Israel is probably the most monitored in the entire world, if not the universe. So something very strange happened with that object. It seems to me as if perhaps it came from up above and descended down very quickly and then hovered. The Israeli Defense Force says that no debris has been found anywhere in the desert, which also doesn't make sense if they shot it down. You cannot have anything missing in Israel or Israeli territory without it being found in a matter of minutes. So, as I mentioned, the story has been removed from the news. We haven't heard anything else about it, and I imagine it will stay that way until some kind of very strange cover story can be developed. Also on the news is interesting about WikiLeaks, which, as you know, has been releasing secretive information for the last couple of weeks now. But supposedly, according to European Union Times News, WikiLeaks is about to release information about UFOs in a base in the Southern Ocean off the coast of Antarctica, which, according to this story, in 2004 released a massive amount of UFOs into our atmosphere and headed all the way up to Mexico, very close to the U.S. border. Now, supposedly since then, 2004, the U.S. has been at war with this UFO base off the coast of Antarctica. These vehicles have supposedly also appeared all over the country of Chile and the southern part of Argentina. One thing I find difficult to accept about this story is that there would be a war between the UFOs and the U.S. and maybe not other countries. Why aren't the South Americans or the Russians or the UK involved with it? And also, why would it take till 2004 for this alien base to release the UFOs, and what would be their purpose? So there's other things missing in this story, which, as we find out, we will be reporting to you. Another thing that's been happening this week is the weather. As you've heard, many of the airports in Europe have been closed because of snow and ice, especially in London, Gatwick Airport, Heathrow Airport. I find it almost a little bit amusing because what they're calling blizzards and horrible weather would be for here in the Midwest in the U.S. quite normal and nothing would stop. But the pictures show all the people in the airports, thousands of them huddled together waiting for their flights to take off. And when you look at the pictures of the runways or outside, there really is maybe that much snow on the ground. So really, Britain, get your act together and get some decent plows. In fact, I saw their plows plowing their tarmacs, and I think my snow shovel was whiter than some of them. So a little bit humorous, a little bad looking for Britain. Also, what's even more fascinating is that Australia, southern hemisphere, now in their summertime, had snow. They usually spend Christmas in their bathing suits on the beach, but it's snowing in Australia, and quite a bit of snow in their summertime. So anybody that has the idea that there's global warming really needs to take a better look. I find it also humorous that NASA, the U.S. Space Agency, has claimed recently that they have proof that the world has been warming since the 1880s, and that in fact it's getting warmer, and that all the lakes on the earth are getting warm. Well, obviously they haven't stuck their little foot into Lake Michigan recently because it's quite cold, and all our snow and lake effect snow is proof of that. Interesting also, the Global Climate Conference in Cancun, Mexico a couple of weeks ago. During that conference, Cancun, Mexico recorded their lowest temperature ever. And if you remember, last year during the conference, same climate conference in Copenhagen, blizzards. So someone's trying to give the US government and the New World Order a little bit of a message of what's going on out there. One other thing I want to report to you is the scanners at the airports that are being used in the United States. Of course, the TSA and the US government is telling you that they're completely safe and that the radiation that you would get from an aircraft is much more than you would get from these scanners at the airport. However, what they are mimicking or repeating is simply the information that the scanner manufacturers have been claiming, and in fact there has been no scientific studies done on them for any significant period of time to determine if these scanners really are safe. In fact, independent researchers have stated that the radiation emitted from these scanners not only penetrate your skin, but go into the visceral tissue underneath and could cause quite extensive damage. So if you travel frequently, or even just one time, I certainly would not want that in my body, and I'd be interested to see what happens in a few months with the TSA agents who've been hanging around those machines and what their health will be like, let's say in spring of 2011 or beyond. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of health issues from this. Also, just to let you know that in end of February 2011 into early March, I will be in Singapore doing consultations. So any of you who are in the East Asia or Southeast Asia or even Australia region, please look at my site, expansions.com. I'll be posting up there very shortly about my stay in Singapore and what I will be doing there. So until next time, this is Stewart A. Swerdlow signing off for now and wishing you a very happy Appreciation Week.